Welcome to the 2022-23 Heart of America Athletic Conference Men's Wrestling Media Days. Cody Goodwin here with Waldorf Wrestling, head coach Ryan Dickinson and wrestler Tyler Okada. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, it's Okada.
Okada. Awesome. How are you both doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Awesome. Coach, I'll start with you. A lot of competitions already out of the gate. Couple of duels. Got to see them wrestle in a tournament this past weekend. Got another one coming up this weekend. What do you like about what you've seen so far?
The guys are wrestling well. It's just little things. Little things is really the only thing that's hanging us up. So it's about fine tuning, making sure we're doing those little things right. But I see a lot of promise in these guys. And so I think by the end of the season, we'll be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I know coaches can be cautiously optimistic about their teams before they finally get to see them in action. Now that you've seen your guys in action a handful of different times, like what are some of the big picture things you've learned about your team thus far?
It's resistant to change. Some of them, we're trying something new with how we develop them and how we do some certain techniques and drills, and they're used to the old way of doing things and their way. So it's breaking down that barrier of like finding, common ground and how we can get everyone to adapt.
Absolutely. Fourth season at the helm. How have you seen the program and the team and the guys, change and evolve during your time in the big chair?
It's been pretty drastic. When I first started, we had 4 guys that I had on my roster, and now we're right around 20, anywhere from 20 to 25 at any given time. But it's not only how many athletes, it's the type of athletes that we're getting. Guys that are buying in, guys like Tyler, guys like Jalen. They really bring a different level to Waldorf wrestling.
Absolutely. I know obviously a handful of competitions already, but who are you most excited to see, or who are some guys that, maybe we need to keep an eye on as the season continues to unfold?
Guys I'm always excited to see, are Tyler and Jalen Strong. Dalton Thorson, he's kind of a clutch guy, always shows up when the lights are on. And then Ian Sandos and Andrew Gomez, they're both new, as well as Jackson Richter, 97 in heavyweight.
Absolutely. A lot of freshmen on the roster.
Yes.
Lots of freshmen. In your experience as a head coach, what is always one of the toughest things, or what is, the hardest thing to try and teach or coach freshmen, when it comes to that transition from high school to college wrestling?
Breaking down and getting rid of the bad habits, high school habits. High school wrestling's high school wrestling, and college is very different. So it's getting them to understand and realize that earlier rather than later. Definitely helps, but sometimes you have to throw them to the wolves to make them figure it out.
Absolutely. Talked a lot about how a lot of competitions here already in early November, going to continue kind of that trend a little bit throughout the season. What are you most looking forward to seeing from your guys in terms of growth, or what do you want to see from them as the season unfolds?
I just want to see them chase better performances, not necessarily, wins and losses as much. Wins are nice, but if we keep chasing a better performance, those wins will come. So that's kind of one of the big things that I preach to the guys.
Absolutely. Tyler, already been in a handful of different competitions this year, a couple of duels, had a good performance at the tournament this past weekend. How do you feel like you've been wrestling so far this year?
Like most of my stuff, I kind of started out a little bit slower, but I think after my first few matches at the tournament this past weekend, things have definitely been picking up for the better.
Yeah. I know some athletes prefer like the single match in the duel, and others prefer a tournament because it gives them a few opportunities to kind of ease in. Which one do you kind of prefer?
It's a good question. I personally think I prefer duels because I really like the team aspect and just having everyone there getting rowdy, cheering for my guys, even win or lose, do the best I can,
Absolutely. Sophomore year now, where do you feel like you've grown the most on the mat between, last year and this year?
I definitely grew mostly on my top game. I was horrible at riding people out coming in. I used to be a strictly neutral freestyle Greco kind of guy, but definitely transition and evolve from there.
Absolutely. I know of the many things that, first year wrestlers, when it comes to college wrestling, of the many things they maybe struggle to adjust with, or things they have to work more on to adjust and adapt to college wrestling, mat wrestling, right? Top and bottom. What was that process like for you?
It was pretty tough. Because being in the room, everything kind of gets put together real easy, but when you get out there on the mat competitions, it's totally different. You have no idea what guys know, how they're going to react to certain things. So I think being in a lot of competitions last year and trying out new stuff, trying out the stuff we work in here helped a lot.
Absolutely. Now that you've got a handful of competitions already under your belt, what are you specifically, like individually, looking to work on now, through the rest of this month and as the season continues to unfold?
I've been doing a lot better, neutral kind of in my top game, but recently we've had some regression as far as getting out of bottom. So I'm going to be looking into that. Definitely.
Okay. There you go. And as someone who's, now you've got a year of college wrestling under your belt, and, again, a lot of freshmen on the roster this year. What's one thing you're kind of looking for, or maybe a message that you're trying to send the rest of the team just to, help as they continue to navigate the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'd say probably two things. The first being that, wrestling, while an individual sport, is also a team sport. I'm looking for, guys to always give their best effort, try to promote team morale, try to work out with one another. The second thing I kind of want to show, kind of lead my team through example, show them that, anything's possible, even though we're a bit of a smaller program, smaller school. We have a good coach, we have good teaching, good technique being taught in here. So, we can get out there too, just be like everybody else.
I like that. I like that a lot. Fellas, that was all the questions I had for you, unless there was anything else you guys wanted to add before we signed off.
No, I'm good, Cody.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the time, and good luck this weekend as well as the rest of the season. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.